Hello parents and students, hope you're doing well. We're going to continue with and reading, doing the constructive response model. This is how you answer questions regarding the text. So, and comprehension, understanding the text is our final goal in reading, is being able to understand and answer questions in the text. Some questions are rather straightforward and easy to answer. We still use the constructive response model for that. Other answers are a little bit more vague, and maybe we have to read the whole text to actually get an understanding of how to answer the question. We will still use our highlighter for that, but those take a little bit more time. It's the same way you respond to both questions as using the constructive response, so that's why we're practicing that right now. So this first video, we're going to finish our constructive response triangle. And then our second video, we're going to go back to Jenna and the black cat, and we're going to fill in the final parts for our constructive response questions and answers that we did. So we're going to cover that in, I think it might be 2, maybe even 3 videos. This is R for reading, 5 for the 5th week, and this is the second reading video. I hope you kept your copy of your constructive response pyramid. It's actually an upside-down pyramid or upside-down triangle. We're going to fill in the other 2 spaces here. This space we're going to fill in. I like to fill everything in with pencil. In case I make a mistake, I can erase it and correct it. And then I'm going to use my colored pencils later on to copy onto them. So, we do a restatement. We were using this exercise with Jenna and the black cat. We're going to use the same exercise. We turned our questions into statements, and then we answered the question. And that was the first part. That was these first 2 parts. If you did a reinstatement, good job. If you answered a question, that's a must. The next one is highlighting the text. This is also called citing evidence. This is a fancy word for saying that, citing evidence. Remember we said that the answer has to come from the text. If you can find the answer in the text, you're 100% correct. If the answer's not in the text, then you haven't found the answer yet. And we went in with our highlighter, and we highlighted the text in areas of the text where we thought our answer would be. So highlighting the text, citing the evidence from the text, we've already done that. So that is one of the easier ones that we've had before. So choose a color. I'm going to choose red. And let's go ahead and outline this in red. That's this part of our constructed response. And I told you last week that you actually already did this third thing, that we didn't have to do anything else. I like outlining first. And then I like to color red. So highlighting the text is called citing the evidence. So if you have some spot in your passage that's highlighted and it doesn't answer the question, that's a wrong answer also. So you just can't highlight the text randomly. You can't say to yourself, I'm just going to go through and highlight my text. I'm going to highlight this, and then I'm going to highlight this over here, and it looks kind of barren up here, so I'm going to highlight here. No, you have to highlight only the parts of the text that answers the question. That's what we're going to use our highlighter for. So if you're asked, why did Erica not wear the same colored shirt 2 days in a row? Erica didn't wear the same shirt because she believed that you couldn't experience each day as a new day. You should be able to find that in the text. Don't turn this into a coloring exercise and think that you're going to find the answer. You've got to find the answer to the question in the text and show us where you found that answer. That's what the highlighter is for. So this part you already have done. So now I'm going to color this in. Remember, I'm going to go to the edge, but I'm going to use sort strokes. And then longer strokes at the middle, shorter strokes at the close to the edges. This is an I, got my period there. So a lot of questions about a text is not as good as answering a few questions correctly. So you'll get 6 questions to answer correctly from the text. If and when you have a test, which will probably be before week 10, I could promise you that. And you'll have to use the constructed response. To answer your questions. You'll have to highlight the text. That looks pretty good. These little areas came up because I have some paper that overlaps here. So if you're doing this part, you're almost there. We have one other part up here. So I'm going to switch over to my pencil again. My pencil has been disappearing on my desk. Here it is. This part is a personal part. This is our personal response. This is a personal response to our constructed response. And sometimes we call this a conclusion. This is kind of how we close things instead of a conclusion. Conclusion means that you end something, but not by saying the end, but by kind of letting your readers know that this is the end, that you're not going to say anything more after this. And conclusions are reflections, sometimes they're just a thought, Sometimes they're an opinion. Sometimes they're a memory. But the important thing is that you personally are responding to what you've written. So whatever you've written here, you're personally responding to that. Either through a reflection, something that you can reflect on personally, a thought you may have, an opinion, or a memory. All these come from you. So this part here is very personal in our constructed response method. I'm going to color that, this is a nice color, blue, so I'm going to color this blue. I'm going to outline if you want to go ahead and color yours in without having to outline it, I think you're going to do a better job than Mr. Budinger. I just like to do this because reflect, see like right here as I'm speaking. No, reflection, I spelled that correctly. I like to just correct any mistakes before I color. In art, we call that a sketch. A lot of artists, before they pick up a paintbrush, sketch out what they're going to do. We're making models. Also, before we do our calculations, we're just kind of making sure we understand what we're doing before we kind of make it permanent. And this is going to be a permanent poster for you. And then I'm going to color this part in.